The bell chimed as Christine Johnson stepped into the boutique on Rodeo Drive, her heels clicking softly against the marble floor. It smelled of expensive leather and something floral, something trying too hard. Her Sunday hat, modest but elegant, stood out among the rows of designer silk and crocodile skin handbags. A young clerk behind the counter glanced up. Her gaze swept over Christine. Dark skin, mid-60s, simple coat. Her smile faltered before it even formed. Christine ignored it. She moved slowly, purposefully, toward a glass case displaying a handbag she'd seen in Vogue. It was for her granddaughter's graduation, a gift that said, "Dream big, baby." Magic insisted she didn't need to spend her own money, but she wanted this to be from her. The clerk appeared beside her, voice tight. "That bag starts at $25,000. Christine smiled. "I know. We usually take appointments." "I'm just looking," Christine replied calmly, not moving. The clerk's eyes narrowed slightly. "If you'd prefer something less exclusive, there's another store down the block." Christine's heart pounded, not with shame, but with something old, something that had followed her through segregated schools and church sit-ins. But now it stood here, wrapped in polished marble and quiet contempt. She straightened, looked the girl in the eye. "Do you know who my son is?" The girl blinked, uncomprehending. Christine didn't flinch. "His name is Irvin. Most people know him as Magic." If Christine's strength moved you, don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. The clerk's expression didn't shift right away. She blinked, searching Christine's face, trying to match her calm voice with the weight of that name. Then, the flicker, recognition. Magic. "Johnson?" she asked almost skeptically. Christine gave a slow nod. "That's right." A pause. Then came the scramble. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. Would you like something to drink? Sparkling water? Champagne?" Christine waved her hand gently. "No, thank you. I'm not thirsty." The clerk hovered now, attentive, too attentive. But the moment had already crystallized, the judgment clear before the name had entered the room. Christine stepped closer to the glass, eyes on the handbag. "I'd like to see this one." "Of course," the clerk replied quickly, fumbling with keys. As the case opened, Christine didn't even look at her. Her fingers grazed the leather, smooth, flawless, a world away from the cracked vinyl of the buses she rode as a girl in Michigan. Still, the cold was the same, that same chill when someone decided you didn't belong. "I'll take it," she said simply. The clerk beamed. "Wonderful choice, we'll have it wrapped." "No need." "I'll carry it out." Minutes later, Christine stepped back into the sun, bag in hand. People turned. A few phones came up. Maybe someone had recognized her. But Christine wasn't thinking about that. She thought about what her mother used to say. Dignity isn't something they give you. It's something you carry in your spine, and today she carried it out the front door. Christine eased into the back seat of the waiting black SUV, resting the handbag on her lap like a fragile truth. The driver glanced at her through the mirror. "Everything all right, Mrs. Johnson?" She met his eyes. "Yes, Derek. Everything's just fine." As Rodeo Drive faded behind them, the memories came uninvited. The first time someone followed her in a store, Christine had been 13. Benton Harbor didn't have boutiques, but even the corner drugstore had rules about where girls like her could stand. She remembered her mother's hand tightening around hers. "We came to buy, not to beg," she'd whispered. That day, they'd left empty-handed. Now, 60 years later, Christine sat with a handbag worth more than what her mother had earned in a year. "Heading back to the house?" Derek asked. She hesitated. "No. Let's stop by Irvin's office first." "Yes, Mom." She needed to see her son, not because of what happened, but because of who they had become, because every step forward still came with echoes of the past. As the SUV turned onto Wilshire, she watched the sun catch on high-rise windows, each pane like a mirror, some reflecting triumph, others reminding her of the steep price of grace. Her fingers brushed the bag again, not with pride, but with resolve. This wasn't about luxury, it was about standing up, again. and making sure the next girl in her granddaughter's shoes would never feel that cold stare through velvet walls. Magic stood behind his desk, glancing through a spreadsheet when his assistant buzzed in. "Your mother's here." He looked up, surprised. "Send her in." Christine entered the room quietly, the bag on her arm, her face unreadable. Magic crossed the space in 2 strides and hugged her tightly. "Everything okay?" he asked, stepping back to study her. She nodded. "I needed to see you." He motioned to the chair. She sat, and so did he, folding his hands. "I went shopping today," she said. "Rodeo Drive." Magic exhaled slowly. "Ma?" She raised a hand. "It's all right." "I wasn't going to tell you, but I thought maybe you should know." She described the store, the clerk, the shift in tone once she'd said his name. Magic listened, jaw tight. "I hate that," he murmured. "That they only respected you once they realized who you're related to." Christine smiled softly. "I don't need their respect, son. I carry my own. But I do want you to know, it's still out there." "The difference, the doubt." Magic leaned back, eyes clouded. "I can build arenas and businesses, but I can't fix that." "You've done more than you know," she said. "You gave our family a name that makes them pause, and sometimes that pause is enough to let the truth walk through." She set the bag down. "But the fight's not over, and I didn't want you to forget." He nodded, silent. He hadn't. By morning, the story had leaked. A customer at the boutique had recognized Christine, snapped a photo as she walked out, and posted a short clip to social media. Magic Johnson's mother just got profiled on Rodeo Drive until they realized who she was. Watch what she says. Within hours, it had gone viral. Christine sat at the breakfast table with the newspaper in front of her, but the real noise came from her buzzing phone, calls, texts, even a request from a morning talk show. She sighed, stirring her tea. "I didn't do anything dramatic." Irvin sat across from her, scrolling through the online chatter. "You didn't have to." "Your dignity said enough." "They're making it a big story," she said softly. "Because it is." Christine took a sip, gaze distant. "When I was young, they used fire hoses. Now it's hashtags and cameras. The tools changed, but the fight, it's still here." Irvin nodded. "But this time, people are listening." He turned his phone to show her a quote someone had posted under the video. She didn't raise her voice. She raised the bar. Christine chuckled. "That one's clever." Her phone buzzed again. This time, it was a message from a woman in Atlanta. "I watched the video with my daughter. You showed her how to walk through hate with grace." "Thank you." Christine's eyes misted. She hadn't asked for attention, but maybe, just maybe, it was time to use it. Later that week, Christine sat quietly in the green room of a national morning show, smoothing the hem of her navy dress. The producers had sent a car. A makeup artist had touched up her lipstick, but no one had rehearsed her words, and that's how she preferred it. A young assistant peeked in. "You're on in 2 minutes, Mrs. Johnson." Christine nodded, her hands calm in her lap. Irvin had offered to come, but she'd declined. This was her moment, not as Magic Johnson's mother, but as Christine, daughter of sharecroppers, woman of faith and keeper of her family's legacy. The host greeted her warmly on stage. "You've become an unexpected symbol this week." "How does that feel?" Christine smiled, measured. "Unexpected, yes, but maybe not unprepared." The audience chuckled. She continued, voice steady. "I didn't walk into that store looking to make a point. I walked in the same way every woman should, with confidence, with intention. What happened afterward just reminded me we still have work to do. Did you ever think your story would resonate this widely?" Christine looked out past the cameras. "I think grace always resonates, especially when it's quiet." After the show, as she walked toward the car, someone called her name. A teenage girl holding her mother's hand approached with a tearful smile. "You made me feel seen." Christine reached out, gently brushing the girl's cheek. "Then we've already won, baby." And with that, she stepped into the sunlight again. The invitation arrived in a cream envelope, gold embossed, a private luncheon hosted by one of the most prestigious fashion houses in the world. Christine raised an eyebrow when she read the sender. They want to honor you, Magic asked, reading over her shoulder. Christine nodded slowly. Looks like it. After decades of dressing the world, they suddenly care about dignity. You going? She considered. Not for the praise, but maybe to ask a few questions. The luncheon was held in Beverly Hills, under a glass canopy adorned with fresh orchids and crystal chandeliers. Designers, celebrities, executives, they all stood when Christine entered, now no longer invisible. The brand's CEO offered a speech. Today we honor Christine Johnson, a mother, a voice, and a reminder that elegance begins with character. Christine smiled politely. When it was her turn to speak, she stood without notes. I appreciate the gesture, she said, but let's be honest, you didn't invite me here because of what I wore. You invited me because the world saw what you almost missed. Murmurs, some startled, some impressed. She continued, if you truly want to honor women like me, hire us, train us, put us on your runways and behind your counters. Don't just sell to us, see us. Silence followed. Not awkward, thoughtful. She sat down to applause, not for being Magic's mother, not even for going viral, but for speaking the truth, with pearls, posture, and power. The following Sunday, Christine returned to her church in South Central Los Angeles, the same modest brick building where she had sung in the choir, taught Bible school, and helped serve meals to those in need. Inside, the air smelled of old hymnals and fresh lilies. Deacon Harris greeted her at the door. Our celebrity's back, he teased with a grin. Christine chuckled. I was always here. Y'all just didn't have cameras before. The congregation gave her a standing ovation before the choir even sang the opening note. Christine smiled graciously, but waved them down. Sit, sit. We've got better things to praise today. Pastor Reynolds took the pulpit after the music, his Bible open, voice warm. Sister Christine reminded the world this week what quiet strength looks like. She didn't shout, she didn't curse, she just stood, and the world listened. After the service, members lined up to hug her, thank her, share their own stories. One older woman pressed Christine's hands in hers and whispered, "What you did? You brought all of us with you into that store." Christine blinked back tears. Then I wasn't alone. Outside, children played on the church steps, twirling in their Sunday best. One little girl tugged on Christine's sleeve. "Miss Johnson, can I be like you when I grow up?" Christine knelt to meet her eyes. "Baby, you can be even more. Just walk proud, love hard, and never let anyone shrink your shine." And the little girl beamed, holding on to her words like gospel. That evening, Christine sat at the family dinner table surrounded by children, grandchildren, and a few close friends. The house buzzed with laughter, stories, and the comforting clatter of plates. Her granddaughter Maya sat beside her, eyes bright with questions. "Grandma," Maya asked, "did you know they'd treat you like that when you walked in?" Christine stirred her collard greens thoughtfully. "I hoped they wouldn't, but I wasn't surprised when they did." "Weren't you scared to speak up?" Christine smiled. "No, baby, I was too tired to be scared. Tired of pretending we owe anyone our silence." Across the table, Irvin watched quietly, his admiration undimmed. "You changed the conversation, Ma." "I didn't change anything new," she said. "I just reminded folks that we still need to have the conversation at all." Her eldest grandson chimed in. "They've got you trending again today." Christine laughed. "Imagine that. A church mother trending more than the Super Bowl." Maya reached for her hand. "I want to be brave like you." Christine squeezed it gently. "Bravery doesn't always roar, sweetheart. Sometimes it walks into a room with its head held high, says, 'No, thank you,' and keeps going." The room fell quiet for a beat, as if each person was tucking her words into their hearts. Christine looked around the table, filled with generations of love and progress. "We've come a long way, but you all still have roads to walk. Just promise me you'll walk them with your spine straight." They promised. A few weeks later, Christine stood before a group of high school students at a leadership summit in downtown Los Angeles. The event organizer had invited her to speak on resilience, not as a celebrity's mother, but as a woman whose quiet defiance had shifted a global conversation. The auditorium buzzed with youthful energy. Some students knew who she was, others just came because a teacher told them to. Christine stepped to the podium without notes, as always. "I wasn't born famous," she began. "I was born into a world that didn't expect much from girls like me, but my mama taught me early. You don't have to accept someone else's view of your worth." She paused, letting the silence settle. "I didn't walk into that store to prove anything. I walked in because I believed I belonged. And sometimes that belief alone is a revolution." A hand shot up from the front row, a teenage boy with nervous eyes. "What would you tell someone who's tired of always having to prove they matter?" Christine met his gaze. "You don't have to prove you matter. You already do. You just have to remember it even when the world forgets." Applause swelled, not polite but deep, moved. Later, as she walked to her car, Christine saw her reflection in a storefront window. Not the viral moment, not the famous name, just herself. A woman who had once been told she didn't belong, and who made the world reconsider.